City of Oxnard Council Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting this evening on September 26th. Madam Assistant City Clerk, would you like to read the information provided for the public, please? And by the way, you're doing a terrific job filling in. Terrific job.
Thank you, Chair Perello. The public may view the meeting from home on Spectrum Channel 10, Frontier Channel 35, or at youtube.com/Oxnard News. Video recordings of the meetings are typically available online following the meeting at the city's website. The public may participate in the meeting in the following ways. 1. Attend the meeting in person at 305 West 3rd Street and submit a speaker card to the city clerk. 2. Submit a request to speak remotely by no later than 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting by using the form available at www.oxnard.org/citymeetings. And 3. Submit an email to cityclerk@oxnard.org or contact the city clerk's office at 805-385-7803 no later than 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting. To provide public comment during the meeting, please dial 888-475-4499 and enter the meeting ID and passcode located on the agenda. Public comments will be taken following the announcement of the item. Detailed participation instructions can be found at www.oxnard.org/citymeetings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to the first part of the agenda, roll call, posting the agenda and the flag salute. And Public Works Director Michael Wolf will lead the flag salute when we get to that spot.
Member Zaragoza?
Here.
Member Valenzuela Zavala?
Present.
Chair Perello?
Here.
We have a quorum, and the agenda for this meeting was posted on the City Hall Bulletin Board on September 19, 2023.
Thank you.
Please join me while we salute the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Assistant City Clerk, do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda?
Yes, we have one pre-registered speaker, but he's currently not available virtually or in person.
Okay. If he does call in later at the prerogative of the chair, I'll let him speak before the meeting ends. And his name is Diego Martinez. On the consent agenda, item C1, and Madam Assistant City Attorney, that's okay, right? I could let him speak. Okay, thank you. She's nodding her head. Thank you very much. The consent agenda, C1, City Clerk Department, approval of the minutes. The recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee approve the minutes for September 12th, 2023, regular meeting as presented. My fellow committee members, do we have any suggestions, changes? What are your views on the minutes?
I just want to state that I wasn't present at this meeting 2 weeks ago, so I'll be abstaining on this item.
Okay, well, I have no concerns, but I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second it. And again, we have no comments on this item?
Chair Perello, we have no speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Okay, please go ahead and vote.
Motion passes 2-0.
Thank you. On the next item, reports. D1, Public Works Department. Agreement number 324-00183 with Black Gold Industries for on-call citywide hazardous and unknown waste identification, collection, and disposal services. The recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Black Gold Industries for citywide known and unknown hazardous waste identification, collection, and disposal services for the amount not to exceed $500,000, or plainly put, $500,000, beginning with 1-year terms ending October 17th, 2024, with the option for 2 consecutive 1-year extensions, If extended, the final term date will be October 17th, 2026. Again, due to the voter's choice, this is a Measure M item. There's a presentation on video, but there will not be that presentation given here. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments on this item?
Chair Perrello, we have no public speakers virtually or in person for this item.
And I see Mr. Brian Yanis coming to, Assistant Public Works Director Brian Yanis coming to the podium. My committee members, do you have any questions of Mr. Yanis?
Just, yeah, Mr. Chair, oh, sorry, do you want to go? Okay.
No questions, no comments.
I just want to share that was a really good presentation regarding the hazardous and unknown waste identification collection, because a lot of that material is really disposed of sometimes illegally and so forth. And one of the things that was said here is that potentially it could hurt our employees or even our residents. And one of the things that I found interesting, is how many really divisions, Brian, actually utilize black gold, like parks and streets and the facilities and wastewater and ER and every single division, which I think is really important. And some of the stuff, and I see that too many times, there's oil filters. I've actually seen, believe it, but it's probably private property on shopping center parkings where somebody changes the oil and they drop the oil filters, and so forth, which is not good. Solvents, antifreeze, and paints. ER used to get a lot of paints in the trash. I'm not sure if they still do, illegally. So. But I think that Black Gold's been doing this for quite a while, right, Brian?
Good evening, committee members. Brian Yanis, Assistant Public Works Director. Yes, Black Gold Industry's been around for some time. We solicited for this services, and they were one of the one that was best suited for us. And they're currently doing it now. However, we utilized them where we realized we should have an agreement with them. So it was kind of a test run this last fiscal year. So they've done a really good job. They're really responsive to our needs. And we remove these items from the public right away as soon as they're identified.
So, and I'm sure that also some companies or individuals would deposit a container or drum next to a facility illegally, which is really, really dangerous. And then you don't know what's inside the dumpster, or the drum, which is really not good. But I think it was an excellent report, and some of the photos that you have are just unbelievable, of the stuff that's being dumped illegally throughout the city. And by the way, the city of Oxnard is not the only one that has it. Many cities have this problem across the United States, for that matter. But it's good that we're taking care of it and to take care of the residents and take care of our employees and our businesses. So, Mr. Chair, I think that's a very comprehensive report, which I think is really, really important that we take care of hazardous materials, and so forth. And sometimes people don't realize that paints are hazardous materials, which I think is really important. So, but good job, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to get on my soapbox here. It's a tremendous report. And if the camera can focus on some of these things, I'm sure that there's a fair amount of residents have seen people leaving 5-gallon barrels with God knows what's in the barrels just in an alley on the side of the road. Or a 55-gallon barrel with stuff on the side of the road, let alone the abandoned vehicles and the damage that happens when they're torched. And we need somebody to clean that up because it's a hazard. But also, it's a safety hazard for the people that are working. So they have to be trained and going into a situation where they don't know what they're to expect. So there's a risk involved, and that's the other thing. But the bigger issue that my soapbox is, this is a 3-year for $500,000. And the residents of Oxnard, for the most part, I don't believe, think that people are coming from Santa Paula, Ventura, Camarillo, Thousand Oaks, Port Hueneme to dump their stuff in Oxnard. These are our own residents doing this, residents, businesses doing this. And I also see that on one of the pages of the staff report, we do also tires. And so I know that when I see a pickup truck parked on the side of the street in front of a residential house, and he's got a bunch of tires in the back, I always wonder, where's he going that night? And they will dump off tires. Teal Club in Patterson is a favorite place currently, and it was Oles Road at a time, and I'm sure that my other council members can pick places of their own. But the amount of money that this costs the residents of Oxnard, because it has to be done, because again, these are not something that the council wants to do because we're good guys. The council wants to do this, wants to do that. On page 14 of your staff report, there's a lawful performance. We have to abide by state, federal, and local laws with respect to regulations, very bottom of the page, how this stuff is handled. And so there are people that are in this business, and they can do a better job than I believe we are able to with the staff we have. Not that our staff is incompetent, they're far from it. But there's an opportunity to get somebody here that this is their business, they're very proficient at it. You have a expectation that if it's a serious matter, they have to be there within a certain period of time, and if it's not serious, they have to be there within another certain period of time. If you could share that with the public, Mr. Yanis?
Yeah, so the issues we have when we find stuff in our parks, public right-of-way, streets, we don't know what it actually is. We could assume it's oil, we could assume it's a paint thinner, but we really don't know. So the unknown is where we bring in this company, and they provide a response. On emergency response, geez, you got me. It's a couple of hours, and then non-emergency, it's 24 hours.
And that's
So-
pretty damn good.
Yeah, so we'll usually either caution tape it and they'll come out, but they've come out faster than that. But they do have that response time in the agreement to meet those times.
In my understanding, when they pick it up, they're also responsible for coming out, collecting it, and disposing of it. So they take it to the appropriate place where it can be disposed.
That is correct. They identify it, pick it up, tag it, and then dispose of it to Clean Harbors. There's places in Los Angeles, Bakersfield, where they dispose of it. We do not dispose of those type of materials at Environmental Resources. It's not a part of our waste stream.
If residents are changing the oil in their car, at one time, we did at the Environmental Resources, collect waste oil. If it was simply waste oil, do we still do that?
Yes, we do take oil at the buyback center, which is open Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we take household hazardous waste at the buyback center.
Okay.
So does AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Napa, they still take oil from used automobile oil and oil filters.
And not that I'm a flaming environmentalist, but I do believe in the environment. Somebody's going to live after I'm dead, and there hopefully is a good environment. This is all part of environmental responsibleness. Recycle what you can. Don't waste it. Don't pollute the earth. So I support this wholeheartedly. I appreciate the staff report. I appreciate the people that have to go out and pick this stuff up. And I also appreciate the residents that have to see this. But if the residents that see this and they have an idea where it's coming from, if you see something, say something. The city of Oxnard is very interested in apprehending people that are doing this. And I'm sure our city attorney and city manager will hold them accountable to the fullest extent of the law. If they don't, I will be raising Cain. So I wanted to share that. And do we have any questions do we have a recommendation? Go ahead.
Move approval. I just want to share something that happened many, many, many years ago, before the automated collection program. We had a driver and operator, we used to have the old shoe packs. Remember the hand-load shoe packs? I'm not sure if you remember, Eric, maybe Eric's not here, so. But
No, he's not.
You remember that. But we had a collector was picking up refuse over at the beach. And when he was packing the material, because he had the shoe pack come down and they were hand loading he got caught, the pack caught a bucket of acid. And when it squashed it, it just splashed the acid all over the driver's face and his clothes. And luckily at the time we had the radios, the Public Works radios, and he called the police. By the time they got there, no clothes, acid had eaten right through him, and he burned completely, really, really bad. And those are the type of hazards that really could happen. Luckily nowadays we have the automatic collection program, but during that time it was a hand pickup, and he got really burned pretty bad, with that acid, so something that people are really, has to be really diligent about not dumping that kind of material in the refuse, even though now it's automated and so forth. But anyway, just for,
Yeah, and if I can piggyback on what the mayor just said, we have some very necessary businesses in our community. We have retail outlets, Lowe's, Home Depot, others. You can buy some really nasty stuff for purposes that it's designed for, but you got to dispose of it correctly, because just as he said, people can get seriously hurt if they handle it wrong.
good job.
You made a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. And there's no further comment, Madam Clerk?
That's correct. No public speakers virtually or in person.
Please go ahead and vote.
Okay.
Motion passes 3-0.
And Public Works, thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, and I thought about this long and hard after watching the Measure M presentation and watching the individual read it all. And I figure I owe him the respect to read the same thing, go through the same torturous thing you went through. So, the next item on the agenda, number 2, Public Works Department, subject, amend department-wide contracts and blanket purchase orders for a not-to-exceed amount greater than $200,000 each. The recommendation, that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the purchasing agent to amend the following. Number 1, contract number 3240034 with Amazon.com Services LLC for an additional $150,000 for a not-to-exceed amount of $350,000 through June 30th, 2024. Coming up for air here. Number 2, purchase order number 22400103 with Consolidated Electrical Distributors doing business as Royal Industrial Solutions for an additional $100,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $300,000 through June 30th, 2024. Number 3, contract number 3240031 with Famco Pipe and Supply Incorporated for an additional $500,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $700,000 through June 30th, 2024. Number 4, contract number 3240092 for Ferguson Enterprises LLC for an additional $150,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $350,000 through June 30th, 2024. Number 5, contract number 3240048 with WW Granger Incorporated for an additional $250,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $450,000 through June 30th of 2024. Contract number 6, item number 6, contract number 3240033 with Hatch Company for an additional $135,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $285,000 through June 30th, 2024. Number 7, contract number 3240050 with Home Depot USA Incorporated for an additional $150,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $350,000 through June 30th, 2024. Number 8, contract number 3240069 with Office Depot Incorporated for an additional $50,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $250,000 through June 30th, 2024. And number 9, contract number 3240045 with Sunbelt Rentals Incorporated for an additional $125,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $325,000 through June 30th, 2024. Number 10, contract number 3240047 with Waxy Sanitation Supply Incorporated, doing business as Waxy Sanitation Supply, for an additional amount of $150,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $350,000 through June 30th, 2024. And finally, number 11, contract number 324-00146 with Vista Paint Corporation for an additional $100,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $300,000 through June 30th, 2024. Again, there was an excellent presentation, but due to Measure M, there will be no presentation here. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments on this item?
Chair Perallo, we have no speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Okay, and it's Mr. Thompson, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, will be here, and do my
You know,
committee members have any questions?
I know that Kevin read it too in his presentation. You read it again. When it goes to the city council, I don't think I have to. Madam City Attorney, what do you think? Do I have to read it?
I think Kevin set a heck of a bar,
You're gonna
man.
have
We
to
gotta
read
read
it,
it.
I'm
sorry.
sorry, what was it? Yes or no?
Yes, you'll have to read it.
I do have to read it? Come on.
You can designate the chair of the Public Works Committee to read it at the
To
council
read it,
meeting.
yeah. Kevin, you did a good job.
I apologize, Mr. Mayor. We were trying to condense it as much as possible.
I know.
what we
I'm
came to.
I'm just kidding, but I think that this is really great because there's a blanket purchase order really helps, as you mentioned, take advantage of discounts and reduces paperwork and establishes unencumbered contracts, and purchase orders are created for specific amount of dollars, so you know how many dollars you have. And this afternoon, we are going to submit a new program, a computer program to help you with stuff like this. And also, Mr. Chair, there are good examples of some of the purchases, supplies, the maintenance and repairs, the heavy equipment rentals, even heavy equipment rentals.
Yes, sir.
And that we can expedite those rentals. The purchase of parts, water monitoring supplies. I think it's an excellent idea. That way you don't have to be running around trying to bid it, and you have it ready and when you can use it, and save time at the same time. So I think that staff says in the past, it says you have not exceeded your spending limits because let me see, okay. But anyway, I think it's an excellent program and I support it, Mr. Chairman.
Just that I've grown fairly familiar with BPOs and POs, and I know that they can be quite time consuming. So thank you for bringing this all before us in one item. Thank you.
Of course.
Just to,
Can we pre-record that so whenever it's for city?
just to make this go a little bit longer, each of the companies, and we just get an idea, what is, I think I know, but Famco Pipe and Supply, it sounds like they supply pipe and supply. But like Ferguson Enterprises, what do they provide?
To my knowledge, they provide plumbing supplies and irrigation supplies as well.
And Granger, I hear them advertising on the radio, from nuts to bolts to soup and
Yeah,
tunas.
they're pretty widespread and have a wide variety of different resources that a lot of the different divisions will go to, from safety supplies to nuts and bolts to tools.
Hatch Company.
Hatch, I am unfamiliar with. Do you know, Michael?
That's number 6, huh?
They do water monitoring supplies, so testing, things like that.
Okay.
Water, for water.
Okay, and the rest of them, I think they're kind of Amazon Consolidated Electrical Distributors. It sounds like what they do, what they're describing. And they come down and you got Home Depot, Office Depot, Sunbelt's Equipment, and Waxy Sanitation Supply. I'm assuming it's sanitation supply.
Yes, sir.
And paint with the work that we do painting our facilities and the graffiti action does, we need the paint. So
Absolutely. And out in the streets as well.
I appreciate the depth and I appreciate the smarts of extending these, because coming back for a small amount, because we've come up to the limit with the price of everything going up. I heard today that the cheapest gasoline you can get in Orange County is $6.15. So as everything is going up, we don't get to spread our dollar. Our dollars don't go as far as they did. So this is a wise move on my part, my belief. Do we have any comments on this, Madam Clerk?
Chair Perrella, we have no public speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a recommendation?
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will vote, please.
Motion
you, Kevin.
passes 3-0.
Okay, we have items for future agendas, and I want to remind, if that individual, Mr. Diego Martinez, calls in, we'll let him speak before we adjourn the meeting. Do my fellow committee members have any items for future agendas?
No, sir, I don't.
No, sir.
Neither do I. Mr. Martinez, if you have a chance, speed dial, we'll let you go. If not, I'll give you one more minute. I'm feeling, what? Okay, with that, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you.